In the United States, a senior citizen experiences a stroke every 10 minutes. However, here is the fact that is rarely brought up. You may be unconsciously escalating your hazard by consuming some of the most trusted nutritional boosters available. Indeed, current data reveals that a single, widely utilized supplement, still suggested for millions of elderly individuals, can amplify the probability of a stroke by up to 347% if ingested improperly or in excess. Furthermore, 99% of older adults are completely unaware, because the predominant risk for stroke is not caused by genetics or processed food. It is due to vitamin overconsumption. This originates from well-intentioned pills that thicken the blood, elevate homocysteine, disrupt vascular flow, or even damage cerebral blood vessels. This damage doesn't require years either. Several of these compounds can alter your blood chemistry within mere hours. This is why physicians at stroke centers are now urgently recommending that individuals over 60 review their supplement routine, especially if they notice initial signs such as sudden fatigue, lightheadedness, confusion, or visual impairment. These symptoms may not be mere signs of aging. They could be indicators that blood flow to your brain is already compromised. The most alarming aspect is that these boosters are not obscure. They are found in your everyday multivitamin. They are promoted as brain health aids without considering the long-term consequences. Some are even prescribed to patients recovering from a stroke. However, that ends today, because we are revealing the top 6 vitamins from least to most concerning that could be silently increasing your stroke vulnerability overnight. Even though recent findings suggest that the number 1 item on this list may escalate clotting risk more than high blood pressure itself, it is still being widely marketed as essential for seniors. Authentic science backs every point in this video, and the description includes citations to all the referenced studies. Before we begin, please share in the comments section which nutritional boosters you currently take each morning. We are reading and responding with personalized guidance for every member of our community. Prepare yourselves now. The first item on our list appears benign, yet it can quietly harm cerebral arteries and interfere with antihypertensive medication. Let's commence. 6. Synthetic vitamin E del-alpha tocopherol. This is one of the biggest supplement fallacies for older adults. You've likely been told that vitamin E is beneficial for your heart, skin, and brain. Here's the disturbing reality though. When consumed in its artificial form, especially at high doses, vitamin E can subtly increase your risk of a fatal brain hemorrhage. And this hazardous variant is still present in the majority of multivitamins aimed at seniors. Let's analyze this. Natural vitamin E, labeled as d-alpha tocopherol, is found alongside a group of related compounds called tocopherols and tocotrienols. The synthetic version, labeled as d-alpha tocopherol on your pill bottle, is not processed by your body in the same way as the natural form. In fact, it can block the absorption of other natural E molecules that your brain desperately requires. This rapidly becomes dangerous. Why? Because the natural types of vitamin E, particularly gamma-tocopherol, possess anti-inflammatory properties. They help regulate coagulation and shield your blood vessels from damage caused by oxidation. However, when synthetic E saturates your system, it suppresses gamma-tocopherol and other protective variants. This imbalance leaves your arteries more vulnerable to stiffness, inflammation, and clot formation. Worse still, synthetic vitamin E acts as a blood thinner. While a healthy younger adult might tolerate this, it presents a major hazard for seniors, especially if they are already using medications like aspirin, warfarin, Plavix, or any blood pressure or cholesterol drug. A meta-analysis published in the British Medical Journal demonstrated that vitamin E supplementation increased the risk of hemorrhagic stroke by 22%. Given the age-related fragility of blood vessels, the danger of cerebral bleeds from overly thin blood can be even greater in adults over 60. You might not even realize it's occurring. Early warning signs include sudden lightheadedness, unexpected bruising, nosebleeds that are difficult to stop, or temporary visual impairment. But sometimes there is no warning at all, just a searing headache or a sudden loss of consciousness. This is why synthetic E is so perilous. It builds up silently and can shift from beneficial to deadly in a matter of days, particularly when combined with high blood pressure or inadequate hydration. What is the proper alternative? First, meticulously check every label. If your supplement lists d-alpha tocopherol, discontinue use. It is synthetic. Instead, look for natural vitamin E, which is labeled as d-alpha tocopherol with mixed tocopherols. Seek formulations that include delta and gamma tocopherols for comprehensive brain defense. Even better, obtain your vitamin E from actual food sources. Just 1 ounce of sunflower seeds provides over 7 milligrams. Almonds, hazelnuts, spinach, and avocados are also excellent suppliers. They also contain the full spectrum of antioxidants that your body is capable of utilizing. If you are currently on any anticoagulants, consult your physician before making any modifications. However, don't wait for symptoms to manifest. The first step in protecting your brain's microvessels, which are among the body's most delicate, is eliminating hidden risks. Synthetic vitamin E is one of them. 5. Retinol supplements, vitamin A. Let's proceed to vitamin number 5, which seems utterly wholesome, but when consumed excessively, can subtly constrict blood vessels within the brain. High dosages of vitamin A, especially in its artificial state, can silently narrow cerebral arteries, escalating the danger of an ischemic stroke and unforeseen blood pressure spikes. Most seniors are unaware of this particular risk. It is generally found in multivitamins labeled as retinol acetate or retinol palmitate. It's also occasionally included in vision or skin supplements for older people. Here's the frightening element, though. This form of vitamin A is stored by your liver, and once levels surpass a certain threshold, damage can start without any preceding symptoms. Preformed vitamin A is not the same as beta-carotene from carrots. Your body does not control the quantity that is absorbed. Once it's in your system, it continues to accumulate and is challenging to excrete, especially in the brain, where capillaries are already small and fragile. That surplus begins to intoxicate the linings of blood vessels. The result: microvascular constriction, oxidative stress, and even increased intracranial pressure. A 2014 study published in Stroke found that individuals with higher serum retinol levels were significantly more prone to suffering an ischemic stroke. Other studies indicate that prolonged high-dose vitamin A use can induce symptoms like double vision, headaches, unexpected nosebleeds, nausea, and even seizures, all signs of elevated intracranial pressure caused by compromised fluid balance and circulation. Seniors are particularly vulnerable because, as you age, your liver's ability to process and filter excess nutrients diminishes. This means that even moderate daily doses of preformed vitamin A can quickly build up to dangerous concentrations within weeks or months. Furthermore, you may be ingesting far more than you realize, potentially 2 or 3 times the recommended intake. If you also consume cod liver oil, liver or fortified milks or cereals, what should you do instead? First, avoid any supplement that lists retinol or retinol palmitate as its vitamin A source, unless prescribed for a proven deficiency. Instead, select beta-carotene from natural whole foods such as carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, and butternut squash. These plant-based sources enable your body to convert only what it requires into vitamin A and safely eliminate the excess. That simple change could be life-saving for a senior. Better yet, if you're taking vitamin A to support vision, consider switching to a combination containing beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin compounds, shown to protect the eyes without impacting cerebral blood flow. If you've been consuming synthetic vitamin A for more than 3 months, see your doctor immediately to have your liver enzymes and blood levels checked. The sooner the accumulation is detected, the easier it is to reverse the damage. For ginkgo biloba extract, let's now examine vitamin number 4, a popular brain enhancer that, in reality, has the opposite effect by disrupting blood flow to the hippocampus. You may find this surprising. Ginkgo biloba has been promoted to the elderly for decades as a natural cognitive booster that can enhance focus, memory, and even halt cognitive decline. However, current research suggests that at higher doses, or in poorly regulated synthetic forms, it may significantly increase the risk of stroke and intracerebral hemorrhage, particularly in individuals over 65 who are also using blood thinners or blood pressure medication. Here is what occurs inside your body. Ginkgo biloba contains substances called bilobalides and ginkgolides, which act as vasodilators and thin the blood. While these substances may help improve circulation when used conservatively and under close supervision, they drastically increase the hazard of uncontrollable bleeding in delicate veins, especially in the brain, when consumed in excess or in combination with warfarin, aspirin, or even NSAIDs like ibuprofen. Furthermore, the risk is elevated in older adults because their artery walls are already more fragile and plaque buildup is more common. A 2018 study published in Neurology directly linked high-dose ginkgo supplements to a 38% higher risk of hemorrhagic stroke in people over 60. More alarmingly, a case report in the Journal of Geriatric Pharmacotherapy described a senior citizen who suffered spontaneous cerebral bleeding after combining ginkgo biloba with a daily low-dose aspirin regimen. Millions of older individuals take these two together without realizing the danger. The herb itself isn't the sole issue. It's all about purity, dosage, and combinations. Many over-the-counter ginkgo products contain inconsistent levels of active compounds, and others are fortified with artificial ingredients to amplify efficacy. This variability makes it practically impossible to know how much you're truly ingesting or how it will interact with your prescribed medication. Ginkgo-related complications can present with unexpected symptoms. Seniors may suddenly experience confusion, slurred speech, dizziness, or an abrupt, severe headache. These are more than just side effects. They could be signs of a potentially fatal brain hemorrhage. What, then, is the safe course of action? First, if you are using ginkgo biloba, stop immediately and examine the label. If the source or dosage isn't clearly stated, such as standardized to 24% flavonoid glycosides and 6% terpene lactones, do not trust it. Consult your doctor about safer alternatives for memory support, such as citicoline bacopa or low-dose omega-3 south, especially if you're also taking blood thinners or blood pressure medication. And here's what most people overlook. The memory centers of the brain, like the hippocampus, require consistent oxygen delivery more than they need blood thinning. Therefore, natural foods like arugula or beets that boost nitric oxide levels, sleep, and respiration can improve memory more safely than risky herbal shortcuts. 3. Excessive vitamin B6. Next up is vitamin number 3, a popular energy booster that has been linked to dangerous stroke increases and blood pressure spikes in adults over 65. If you have found this video helpful so far, please hit the bell icon and subscribe to ensure you don't miss any future videos like this. And I want to know whether you're with me if you're now watching. If this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comments section. If not, type 0. The third most concerning is vitamin B6. Paradoxically, when taken in surplus, many people assume vitamin B6 is benign. It is marketed to seniors to support nerve function, brain health, and metabolism. It's found in multivitamins and energy drinks. However, 99% of older adults are unaware that consuming excessive doses of B6 can cause silent nervous system damage and unexpectedly elevate your stroke risk, especially with long-term use. Here is the reason. Vitamin B6 is crucial for the metabolism of amino acids and the synthesis of neurotransmitters. But when taken in dosages exceeding 100 milligrams per day, particularly from supplements, it becomes neurotoxic. And for elderly individuals, this is a critical point. Your liver's capacity to eliminate surplus water-soluble vitamins declines with age. This means that what was once fleshed out can now remain in your bloodstream for longer, harming nerves, compromising vascular tone, and raising inflammatory stress in your arteries. Multiple studies have established the risk. A 2017 study published in Clinical Nutrition that followed over 5,000 seniors found that high-dose B6 users were almost twice as likely to develop sensory neuropathy, a type of nerve damage that results in numbness, tingling, and an unstable gait. The vascular connection, however, was more striking. Long-term B6 supplementation, especially when combined with other B vitamins, has been shown to paradoxically raise homocysteine levels in certain people. Homocysteine is a toxic amino acid that is directly correlated with stroke and arterial inflammation. The symptoms often manifest suddenly. Seniors may experience numbness in their feet or legs, tremors, or abrupt lightheadedness upon standing. Excessive homocysteine can silently harden arteries in the brain, increasing the risk of ischemic stroke even if your cholesterol and blood pressure are within normal limits. The problem: many older people are overdosing without realizing it. B6 is hidden in fortified cereals, energy drinks, individual nerve supplements, and multivitamins. When you combine all sources, you could be taking 200 to 300 milligrams daily, which is 3 times the safe upper limit. What actions can you take? Begin by calculating your total B6 intake from all sources of supplements. Review the back of every bottle. If the daily total exceeds 50 to 100 milligrams, you may be at risk. Next, ask your physician for a homocysteine test. If it's high, decrease your B6 consumption and increase your intake of B12 and folate from foods like leafy greens and eggs. Most importantly, avoid time-released B6 supplements, as they can build up in your system without symptoms until it's too late. 2. Synthetic alpha-tocopherol vitamin E. Next up is vitamin number 2, which the majority of seniors take daily without realizing that it can increase your stroke risk by more than 30%, particularly if you are over 65. Most seniors believe vitamin E is heart healthy. It is promoted as a potent antioxidant, brain booster, and anti-aging agent. Here's the startling truth, though. High dosages of synthetic vitamin E can significantly increase your risk of stroke, especially the most lethal type known as a hemorrhagic stroke. The scary part is that almost all over-the-counter senior multivitamins contain the synthetic form without explicitly stating it. Vitamin E is not a single nutrient. This family consists of 8 distinct compounds for tocotrienose and for tocopherol. However, the only type used in almost all supplements is synthetic alpha-tocopherol, also known as D-alpha-tocopherol acetate. This form of vitamin E is less bioavailable and worse, it displaces the other healthier forms in your system. The buildup of that imbalance quietly weakens your clotting response, thins your blood, and elevates your risk of internal bleeding, particularly in the brain. In a major clinical trial called the ATBC study, researchers tracked nearly 29,000 men who consumed synthetic vitamin E supplements. The results indicated a 22% higher risk of hemorrhagic stroke. Another study published in JAMA found that doses exceeding 400 IU of vitamin E per day were associated with a considerably greater risk of all-cause mortality, especially from bleeding complications. The risk is significantly higher for seniors who already have weaker artery walls, thinner blood, and frequently take anticoagulants or aspirin, which can result in unexpected brain hemorrhages. Hemorrhagic stroke symptoms can appear suddenly and include severe headaches, vision loss, paralysis, and speech difficulties. The real danger, however, is that by the time symptoms appear, the bleeding has already begun, and the odds silently increase every day that synthetic vitamin E thins your blood. Most seniors are unaware that they are consuming synthetic E. If the label says D-alpha-tocopherol, that is the synthetic version. You want the natural form, known as D-alpha-tocopherol, in the safest dosage. ideally combined with other tocopherols and tocotrienols. Limit your daily consumption to less than 150 IU unless explicitly instructed otherwise. If you are taking aspirin, warfarin, or any other blood thinner, strictly avoid high-dose vitamin E supplements. Instead, focus on foods that contain natural balanced vitamin E such as sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach, and avocado, along with complementary elements that work together to protect rather than damage. 1. Vitamin B12 injections. Cyanocobalamin. However, we have now reached the top of the list and it is a complete surprise. The majority of physicians advise taking this nutrient daily, but in older adults it can backfire so severely that some neurologists are now warning that it may be responsible for a surge in dangerous blood clots, microstrokes, and cognitive decline. Let's reveal it. First place, vitamin B12 injections. Cyanocobalamin when taken excessively. This may shock you, given that vitamin B12 is often promoted as the ultimate brain vitamin. Indeed, if you have a genuine deficiency, it is absolutely necessary for many seniors. Here's the horrifying twist though. Cyanocobalamin, the most commonly used injectable form, when taken too frequently or in surplus, can actually thicken your blood, cause significant homocysteine spikes, and flood your system with harmful byproducts like cyanide derivatives, thereby escalating your stroke risk. Let's analyze this. Cyanocobalamin is the most affordable and popular type of vitamin B12. It's injected in clinics worldwide and included in thousands of multivitamins. However, this form is not naturally found in the human body. Your liver must convert it into methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin for it to be usable, which releases a minute amount of cyanide. While your body typically detoxifies this easily, the ability to eliminate it is significantly reduced in older adults with compromised kidney or liver function. It accumulates over time, impairing cerebral circulation and causing vascular stress. A 2020 study published in Stroke found that seniors with high vitamin B12 levels, particularly those receiving regular cyanocobalamin injections, were 3.5 times more likely to suffer an ischemic stroke, especially if they also consumed large amounts of folic acid. Shockingly, this combination elevates blood viscosity and causes endothelial dysfunction, making your blood vessels more prone to clotting and less able to deliver oxygen to the areas that need it most. What are the symptoms? Many seniors are aware of the early warning signs but unaware of the connection following a B12 shot. Sudden lightheadedness, facial drooping, one-sided weakness, changes in vision, or abrupt disorientation may not be coincidental. When the blood is too thick or a tiny clot becomes lodged in a constricted artery, a full-blown ischemic event or microstroke can occur suddenly. To be clear, a genuine B12 deficiency is serious, and you should absolutely seek treatment if you have one. However, that care must be smart. The active version your brain actually utilizes is methylcobalamin, which does not release cyanide. Yes, it is more costly, but it is significantly safer for long-term use. Furthermore, be wary of high-dose pills exceeding 1,000 micrograms or loading doses, unless your doctor has confirmed a true deficiency via a blood test. For general maintenance, a dose of 250 to 500 micrograms of methylcobalamin 2 or 3 times a week is often sufficient and far less risky. If you have a history of stroke, memory issues, high blood pressure, or thick blood and have been receiving frequent B12 injections, you may want to have your homocysteine levels examined. Elevated levels are a clear indication that something is amiss with your B12 processing. Before we conclude, here is your key takeaway. A vitamin's popularity does not necessarily equate to its safety, especially after the age of 60. The majority of stroke risk is not caused by dietary shortcomings. It results from incorrect forms, dosages, or combinations. Tell us in the comments if this information surprised you. Which of these vitamins are you currently consuming, and are you considering making a switch? Every comment is read, and we reply with personalized health advice for seniors who wish to maintain their wits, vitality, and independence. Additionally, if you found this beneficial, click the subscribe button now and enable notifications. You won't want to miss our next videos, particularly the one where we reveal the 7 supplement stacks that are causing illnesses in seniors. Stay safe and informed, and we'll see you at the next one. And I want to know whether you're with me if you're now watching. If this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comments section. If not, type 0. Please leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below.